What's up, everybody? Today I want to talk about a verse that honestly hits hard because it forces us to really check ourselves. It's in James chapter 1, verse 26, and it says, "Those who consider themselves religious and yet do not keep a tight rein on their tongues deceive themselves, and their religion is worthless." That's a strong verse, and I think it's one a lot of people need to hear, myself included, because what this verse is saying is pretty simple. You can say all the right things. You can go to church. You can post Bible verses. You can talk about God. You can call yourself a Christian. But if you can't control your mouth, if your words are constantly tearing people down, spreading negativity, gossiping, complaining, speaking out of anger, or saying things that don't reflect Christ, then something is off. James is basically saying, your faith isn't just about what you say you believe. It's about what comes out of you. And that's hard because if we're being honest, controlling our tongue is one of the hardest things to do. It's easy to react when somebody makes you mad. It's easy to say something when, out of frustration. It's easy to speak before thinking. And once those words are out there, you can't take them back. That's why the verse says, if we don't bridle our tongue, we deceive our own heart. That word bridle paints the picture of a horse. A bridle gives direction and control. Without it, the horse just goes wherever it wants. And that's exactly how our mouth can be if we don't surrender it to God. If we don't have self-control, our words can run wild. And words are powerful. They can build someone up. They can tear someone down. They can bring peace. They can create division. A lot of people think following Jesus is all about the big things. But sometimes the biggest evidence of spiritual maturity is how you speak. How do you talk to people when you get frustrated? How do you respond when somebody disrespects you? What comes out when life gets hard? That's the real test. It is. Anybody can sound spiritual when everything is going good. Anybody can quote scripture. Anybody can look the part. But when pressure hits, what comes out of your mouth reveals what's really in your heart. And I think that's what James is getting at. Faith isn't about appearances. It's about transformation. It's about allowing God to change us from the inside out, and that includes our words. I know for me, this is something I have to constantly work on. There are moments where I've wanted to react, moments where I've wanted to speak out of frustration, moments where I've had to stop myself and remember that not every thought needs to become words. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do is stay quiet. Stay in the back. Stay quiet. Sometimes maturity looks like restraint. Sometimes honoring God means holding your tongue even when you feel justified in speaking. And that takes discipline. It takes prayer. It takes constantly asking God to guard your mouth and your heart, because the truth is, if God has your heart, he'll change your words. So this verse is a challenge to all of us. Before we focus on how we look spiritually, we need to ask ourselves, how do I speak? What do my words reveal about my heart? Am I speaking life into people? Am I reflecting Christ in the way I talk? Because real faith shows up in everyday moments, in conversations, in reactions, in the words we choose. So today, let this verse be a reminder. Slow down before you speak. Think before you react. Ask yourself if your words reflect the God you claim to follow. Because faith isn't just about what we say in church. It's about how we speak everywhere. God bless.